I have a question for Michael and Greg. When you want to learn about a new product, what is the technology that you like to use? Do you like to go to YouTube and watch a video? Do you go to the Distributors website? How do you like to receive that information?
The first thing I do is go to a search site like Google, see if I can pull it up off the manufacturer's website, download a PDF file, and then depending on how much information I'm able to get from that, I will search further. I've used YouTube several times to try to find out more detail on how to do something, but primarily it's getting a PDF file, which has been most helpful. Not only that, from a service technician standpoint, if I have a service technician in the field and he comes across something that he's not seen before, or he's trying to find a wiring diagram for a piece of equipment, he's now able to get that information off of a manufacturer's website probably 80% of the time now.
Yeah, I believe, like you said, probably the number one thing is to jump on Google and go to the manufacturer's website and get a PDF of it. But not to discount catalogs. I think my uncle actually is always in a race with me. He's like, oh, will you look up this product for me? He grabs the catalog, I jump on Google, and I'm hunting around, going through all kinds of drop-down lists, and he's to the page, and he's like, here it is right here. And so I'm not to say that we only use the internet for it. We do find the catalogs beneficial, especially when it's I'd say probably for lamps, for example. I mean, that's something that if you don't know a specific part number, it's easy to jump into a catalog, drill down, and find what you need, rather than drop down lists and looking and hunting. So a little bit of both, but I'd say it's probably about 60-40 internet.
Your catalog usage surprises me.
It surprised me, believe me. It took me a little while to finally grab one off the shelf after he showed me enough times that, just pull it and, look in the index and go to the page. It can be a little bit faster. So believe me, it humbled me. I wasn't real happy about it.
Well, we don't have the dry contract in the office right To stay on that same topic of new product. On the distributor, I'm curious about new technology that's coming out, the manufacturers that are presenting new stuff, something that's labor saving or whatever. How do you like to get that information? Do you want your salesman to come and present it? Is it good to push some information to you via email?
I like it both ways personally. If you shoot me an email and it's got something in it that catches my attention, I will read the email and continue further to look at the information. I'm a little bit different than Greg because I'm not the typical electrical contractor. I'm more of a systems integrator, so I don't do high-rise buildings. I don't buy lamps. So I'm looking at more motor control, more automation. So it comes down to, is it something that I find interesting, find that I can use, in future projects as a sales tool to offer a benefit to the customers. I'm still old-fashioned enough that I do like salesmen to come by occasionally to show me new product lines. And most of the salesmen that call on us regularly, they know us, they know the type of industry that we're working in, so they're it's a kind of a long-standing joke. Don't bring me new terminal blocks because they're just so low on the priority list for me that I'm really not interested in looking at a new terminal block unless it's really something special.
I think for new products, I think specifically, like you said, time-saving items and things like that, we do prefer our salesman to come into the office, and I think a demo is great. I mean, don't get me wrong, a YouTube video could suffice that as well, but it's great to have that personal interaction with somebody there that knows the product that you can actually ask a question to and get a little more details than just seeing something online or through an email. I think it is very beneficial. So I could walk away and relay that information to my foreman and be like, here, this is a new type of, beam clamp we're going to use, and or something like that. So.
I'm with the manufacturer as well, like Terry, and I just want to continue on her question because his response on the paper catalog was interesting to me too. We've been a pretty hefty catalog, expensive catalog. We cycle about every 18 months. And there's always this marketing, I'm not the marketing guy, I'm the sales, director of sales, but there's always this question, well, can we start reusing on the catalog? And it's interesting, we always go through what we can. So we still don't know how many sit on distributor shelves or in the reps' offices, but still we consume roughly the same amount. But as we've heard about demographics and the retiring boomers and everything else, I don't know that this is much more than a rhetorical question, but do we anticipate a reduction and a shift? Because I think that's what this conversation is all about. We're in a transitional phase right now. We're moving demographically, consequently we're moving technologically. The expectations from the next generation as far as how they're going to see data, receive data, information is different than we did. You talk about your uncle and there it is right in the same office. I've got it with the people I work with. They don't want to accept phone calls. They want everything either text or email. They didn't want to talk on the phone. It's bizarre. But, and so, I don't know where the hell I was headed with this. I think we're all in this, like, what do we do, phase. And just one parting thought. I can't take any more inputs because I can't answer the ones I get. So to now be getting them via tweets and LinkedIn and everything else, I can't keep up with what I've got now. So I've said that.
Okay. Did the panelists want to say anything here?
I want to comment.
Okay, I'll address the paper catalog. When I moved into the office 30 years ago, that's all we had were paper catalogs. And we had three walls of one office that were probably as big as the two back walls there with nothing but wall-to-wall catalogs. And I hung on to them very, very dearly, and it was really painful the day that the other office staff convinced me that they were dinosaurs and they needed to go. But we consolidated down to one bookshelf. Now, in my office, because I do a lot of the estimating, I have my favorite catalogs, the products that I use all the time. But I am also moving away from that I don't use them nearly as much as I do. I've developed a PDF library on our server. And the reason I did it is because I can now access that remotely, so that if I'm down here and I'm working on a project at night, I now have access to all of that, whereas carrying paper catalogs, and we have gone to where we don't even accept the phone books when the phone company tries to deliver them anymore, because they go in the garbage can. So we tell them, give them to somebody else that will still use them. So we do the same things with the distributors. I don't really want a bunch of paper catalogs anymore.
Yeah, well, just one part of thought there too is that the upside of the internet is that we as manufacturers also continuously update the information. So in a technological cell like you're doing, where your technical data is very important as to how the components all work together, paper catalog is really ancient. It's obsolete today.
Well, and it's situational. I mean, Sue, you made kind of a joke, but it was the truth that, yes, it was quicker to open a catalog when you had them side by side, but how long did it take you to drive back from a customer's to your office and pick that up? So I think the situation is going to dictate. Certainly technology itself, as it adapts, it'll just become easier, and then the speed will be there and the preference of a different generation, but the rest will just be situational. It's a heck of a lot easier having it at your fingertips than having to carry a trunk load full of stuff.
Well, all of our reps are going to iPads. All of our catalogs are on that. And they just come in, talk to a customer, and they sends it over to them.
Yeah, I won't plug the actual name, but there's a company that does retrofit they have an app, and your salesman can bring in the tablet, and you can walk through, type in the information. Before they make it back to the office, there could be a presentation sent to the customer with full ROI, looking at cost of waiting. I mean, everything soup to nuts, and all that is walking through and touching and picking out stuff. So certainly from that standpoint, it's just, and I think, again, like you said in the beginning, is it's figuring out when, what, where, why, and that's the hardest part.
Anybody else want to
Yeah,
add?
I'll just comment quickly on the catalog piece. Wesco still does produce a paper catalog, and I don't see it going away anytime soon, just because our customer base is so diverse, and some people still want paper catalogs. Some people just like to fill the pages, just like some people like to read a newspaper, when it's still printed on paper as opposed to on a Kindle or something. So we'll probably continue to print our catalog for a while. Now, we have cut down on the amount that we're printing, and we've changed our process for our locations on ordering them, so we don't just send them a whole pallet anymore. They have to actually request them and things like that. Now, on the newer products, on specifically in the renewable space, things change so quickly that we probably will go to a catalog app or a PDF file on our website for those products, just because it's changing so fast. So that's kind of what we're seeing on the catalog side of it.
Chuck, you had a question for a long time.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We were talking about, do you actually see salespeople or not? Is there a direct correlation between the dollar price of the product before you pull that purchase trigger and actually having a salesperson and someone talk to you about that versus the terminal block, where you buy it if you make a mistake? It's something, is there a correlation between?
No, from my perspective, it's more on the technological side of it. If it's a terminal block, I really don't need you coming in and explaining to me the benefits of a terminal block. If it's a new software program for a PLC, that would be something, I would want to see and see a hands-on demo of the benefits, which is going to correlate also into the dollars, because obviously the second one is going to be the higher dollar end.